While Unity does a great job of exposing some commonly used types, there are some limitations. Let's go back into our Hello World script and take a look at some more complex types of collections. At the top of our class, let's import the System Collection generic namespace. This will give us access to collection types like list and dictionary. We'll start with a commonly used collection, list. A list is similar to an array, but it allows you to dynamically add and remove elements at runtime, versus an array which is usually set at a fixed size. Let's create a public list. We'll give it a type of string and call it string list. We'll save our class and go back into Unity. You'll notice that our string list will appear in our inspector. Just like our arrays, it has a size. Let's set this to 3, and we can add text. You can also remove these elements by lowering the size value. So lists work exactly like arrays in the inspector. But let's take a look at something a little bit more complicated. Going back into our code, let's add a public field for a dictionary. A dictionary allows us to store data in a key-value pair. In this case, we're going to make the key a string and the value a vector 3. Here, we'll call this children positions. Let's save this and go back into the inspector. As you can see, our dictionary isn't going to automatically show up in the inspector. The same limitation revolves around properties on a class. A property is like a field, but it involves using a getter and setter. Here, we'll create a public int property called life, and inside of it, we'll create a getter and setter. C# automatically resolves this and makes it act like a field. Properties are useful when you want to do additional logic on a particular field. For this case, let's say we want to make sure that if life ever gets below 0, that we automatically call a method kill. In this case, we can add logic to the setter to monitor the values that go into life. If we save our code and go back into Unity, you'll notice that fields don't automatically get exposed in the inspector. It's important to keep some of these limitations in mind, especially when it comes to building out more complicated classes. When it comes to these types of limitations, we're going to have to build custom inspector fields in order to expose that data to the editor.